Andy.
Yes.
I'm Jason. That's Deke. You know what's so difficult these days is that we've won. We've won everything, and now we're just like, what do we do?
When you beat the game?
I mean, haven't we?
What do you do when you beat the storyline and you
I
can
don't
still
know.
go on and play the game?
Joe Biden's not the president. Kamala Harris is an international embarrassment. Donald Trump can tariff anybody at any rate, and nobody even says anything anymore. The war in Ukraine doesn't matter to anybody.
Though, I mean, there's some of the loud voices out there, the very prominent voices that are on our side and have been on our side for a while that are now saying that, yeah, you've gotten this administration has gotten some stuff done and it's been great, but there's been a lot of focus still on other places in the world, and that is still concerning. It's almost like who is still the puppet master.
Well, all right, look, I'm not going to say there's not.
And I know I'm not arguing for them or against them. I'm just saying what I've heard.
There's certainly rats and weevils and slime out there. You know, they haven't been obliterated,
right?
But the it just seems like, you know, like the squawking resistance is just like meep. You know what I mean? It's no longer like dynamic and engaging and like, oh, they're really gonna do something. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. I think and the preface of this is like the news is not interesting today. It's not. Like there's a story about David Hogg complaining about the Democratic Party holding elections for kicking him off of the whatever the panel is that's in charge of the Democrats.
Yeah, whatever.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Oh, you picked David Hogg. Big surprise. Oh my God. Immediately David Hogg embezzled Democrat money. Oh, of course he did. And like there's another story in the news like, oh, Paramount is trying to settle with the Trump administration $15 million over, you know, bogus CBS defamation or whatever. Yeah, okay. So Paramount's just like, please take some money and go away. Stop hounding us. We tried. It didn't work. You won. Just please take some money and go away. So, I mean, like last year, the year before, every day we had like outrageous news stories of, you know, whatever we were. Oh, hey, check it out. My wife's here. Hold on.
Look at my shirt.
No. Here, look. There. Now look. See? Here we go. Good morning, everybody.
It's like you're exaggerating it on purpose. I think it's the way your camera angle's set up.
Yeah, it's the camera angle.
He's got it up here.
It's the camera. It's for sure the camera.
No, my students, we went to the church that was right on our campus, and my students would see my husband and they would ask me if he was a giant. Is your husband a giant? I'm like, no, he's not a giant.
Obviously,
I'm just a little bit petite
a
and he's a little bit tall. And you put it next to each other and I'm like barely making the shoulder. I want to show him my shirt.
So let me pull this out and hold on just a second. All right, now you can hear him. All right, so I want to preface this by saying this shirt was a gift for birthday. You can't have a high five. Gosh, I got slimed in a high five. This shirt was a gift for a birthday. It was a normal t-shirt. It said, I run a girl gang.
Yeah.
And my shirt.
It's hold on, I can't tilt the camera down far enough.
I don't know. That's funny.
There. And Cassie thought, you know what? I'm gonna be creative and crafty.
I'm not crafty. It had like a stain right here that I couldn't get rid of. I could have just thrown it out. It looked like it was poop.
Yeah.
So I cut it off,
right.
And then I cut it off, and then I cut it off, and I cut it off, and we went walking in it, and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it says I run a
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, she's not going to wear it to church, but if she's going around the house and going walking or something like that, yeah, it's fine.
Or VBS or any of the other stuff. Have they eaten? Have the dogs eaten?
No, the dogs have not eaten.
Okay, I'm going to go do the thing.
Bye, Tiny.
It really looks like it reminds me of the scene in the very first scene in Lord of the Rings when Gandalf meets Frodo.
You call me a midget.
I
Hey,
didn't say
you
that.
can't say midget. The midget's not
Hobbit.
an acceptable word. A hobbit. A hobbit.
Ashley is
It really looks worse on camera than it feels in
It
reality.
does. I've seen pictures of y'all standing beside each other, a level picture on level ground, and y'all are not that. It really exaggerates it a lot more on the camera. It's like she comes up to your nipple, and that's not how it really is. Ashley is just under me, like an inch or so,
Right.
and I'm taller than her. And I'm
Yeah.
always taller than her, except when I'm barefooted and she's leaving to go to a showing or something. She's got a particular pair of shoes on, and I give her a hug, and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like reaching up to you, and you're up here, and I don't. It's icky.
Pretty funny though.
It's pretty funny.
Have you seen those videos on Instagram or TikTok where like the woman puts a camera up at man height and then simulates having a conversation, having an argument with him,
Yeah,
and
that
then
one
reviews
girl.
it, and then she's like,
How does he take me seriously?
yeah. My wife was like, do you want to do that video? And I was like, no. I already lose enough fights. I don't need that extra resentment too.
My buddy still to this day, in high school, early high school, was he was 6'7" in middle school, 6'6", 6'7" in middle school. He's 6'8", and he's been that way. And I've been around him my entire life. I've seen and heard all of the stuff that people say to tall people because I've been around him so much, and how much they gawk at him and ask him certain questions and stuff like that. Because he's a pretty tall, pretty big football player guy. He looks like a brick wall. We always used him when we would go out to like public places and stuff, and it was a group of us or something like that. And this is no joke. This is for real. We did this all the time. We would say, if anybody gets lost, meet up at Caleb, because all you really have to do is stand up over your tippy toes and look over the crowd, and you will eventually see him wherever he's at, because he sticks out over the crowd. We
Right.
did that all the time. If we get lost, meet up at Caleb, and that's all you have to do is find him and go to him.
Well, there's pros and cons, right? I haven't found a whole lot of the cons. I hit my head on a lot of things, like
But you
ceiling
got bad
fans.
knees. You got a bad knees.
My
Like
ankle
every
ain't so
old
great.
person, but taller people have bad knees.
So I guess I'm gonna change subjects here, but we are talking about old people. So yesterday, my wife pulled something up on her phone. It was just, okay, so this is the 21st century, and the way the reality is that your wife will send you Instagram reels or Facebook reels or YouTube shorts as messages all day long, and they
Yes.
may be like how much they love you or just whatever. It's just all day long. And look, a lot of the day I'm working and I don't check my phone at
I don't
all.
see them either.
So,
Yeah.
so many times, very frequently, I will get home and it will be like, did you check my reels? Did you check my messages? Did you check my messages? And I'm like, I haven't looked at my phone yet. And now my home is in the garage. I can still walk in there. Have you checked my messages?
Yeah.
I haven't. I'm not looking at my phone yet. Okay. So she hands me her phone, and she had pulled up a reel because she was like, now you're gonna watch all the reels I sent you on messages or whatever. So she hands me her phone, and the message is, hold on, I don't even know how to do it here. Messages, yeah, it's like this. Hold on, can I mute it? It's like this. It's a video with a bunch of words on it. So she hands me the phone. She just sticks it right in my face, and I do this.
I know.
And then she started laughing at me, and she was like, you did that thing. You're an old man. You have to go to the eye doctor now. And I was like, no, it's just really bad font. It's really just difficult to read. So I guess I'm getting old, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but Ashley does that all the time to me. I've got a dead zone, like, because of the way my eyes focused. I've got a dead zone, like right here, And that's about the spot that when somebody holds your phone,
Yeah.
I either have to go move it back or move it forward a little bit because
Right.
everything is blurry right there in that spot, even with
It's
my
not even.
glasses
The
on.
thing is, it's not like it's blurry. It's just it just
Yeah, it's
becomes
not blurry.
difficult
It's
for
just
me to like lock in at the
yeah.
like it's not blurry, but I'm like I keep finding
You
myself
can't
doing
just
and hi honey. Hang on just a second. We have a special guest. That I even went to. I think I told you that like a couple weeks ago. I went to the pharmacy and I stood in front of their little reader machine and I was
Yeah.
like, perfect. Like I set it at totally 1.0. I don't need anything. Like I can read perfectly fine. But
Well, let
it's
me
the
take
amount of time it takes for it to shift from like there to here is just
Yeah.
taking longer.
Yeah.
And it's noticeable. All right, here.
Yeah. And you're getting older, and if you're having a higher sugar day and you've got more sugar in your body, that definitely affects your eyes and
Okay,
your
we
eyesight.
did eat ice cream that day. We shouldn't have done that, but all right,
Jill.
folks. This is my daughter, Jill. Jill, do you have a joke you want to tell? Can you hear her?
A little bit.
A little bit. Here, tell your joke.
Daddy,
Yeah,
have I said these two jokes before? I don't know.
I don't know.
What is a ghost's favorite dessert?
I don't know.
What is a ghost favorite dessert?
Ice cream.
Hold on. You want to try one more?
Yes.
What is it?
Okay. What is a monster's favorite dessert?
What is a monster's favorite dessert?
I don't know.
Chocolate pudding.
Chocolate pudding. Why chocolate pudding?
Chocolate.
Oh.
Chocolate.
Oh.
Chocolate pudding. Oh.
Look, hang on, Jill. I want to show Jill something. Look, hang on. Look.
Hey, it's little buddy.
That's cute.
That's little dude.
Oh, little dude.
Yeah, I call him little buddy. Little dude, little buddy.
All right, sweetie. What's up? You can bring your note in here. I see you have your note.
Daddy, I know you wrote that.
I did write it.
I know that.
We left you a note and then we abandoned you and left you here while you were asleep. Okay. Love you. All right.
Jill's a big girl.
Yeah.
I got some stuff we can talk about.
Hey, did you see her? I don't know if we mentioned she's lost both of her front teeth. Did you notice that?
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's a big milestone.
It really is. Like, and the thing is, like, she lost one and then like 5 days later lost the other one. I say lost. Had it pulled out of her head.
You need to play her that song. All I want for Christmas is
Cassie was singing that to her like right away.
Yeah, when I saw that picture, I was like, that's the first thing I thought of was all I want for Christmas is 2 front teeth.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I've got pictures of our kids doing that. I was going through old pictures of Alex this morning. Today, Alex is 17. Little Alex is 17 years old. And he is he's one of those kids that's like, I've said this so many times to Ashley and people. I'm like, I know he's my son, but he's like that 17-year-old kid that's disgustingly good looking. Like, he's so good looking at 17 years old. You're like, dude, come on. That's not fair for us. Yeah. Everybody else. That's not cool. But he's a good boy, man. I'm proud of him. 17. He's bigger than me. I can't pick up crap anymore. And
Kids are fetching snacks for the dogs.
All right. I've got some
please find something for us to talk about. What do we got?
I've got some cool stuff here. Did you see this? Make me moderator. You're obviously familiar with the Final Destination stories.
Oh,
right?
my gosh. I remember watching the first movie in the theater, probably like 1996.
Probably. Yeah, it probably was right around that time.
Yeah.
So, and the one scene, even people that's never seen this, it was either in the second or the third one. I think it's probably the second one. That's never seen the scene, know of the scene of the log truck.
Oh, yeah.
And still to this day, every single one of us that saw that movie, when we get behind a log truck, we get in front of the log truck as quickly as possible because that scene flashes into our mind.
Yeah, or you fall way back. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not driving around in a truck.
absolutely. Every one of us do. Ashley and I've had this conversation. I've had this conversation with other people. Yeah, I always think of that scene when I get behind the log truck. And we've got mills around here, so we have log trucks all the time. Well, they've got a new Final Destination movie that just came out in movie theaters.
Okay.
Final Destination Bloodlines. And I'm not going to explain it to our 0 viewers up here.
Right. Well, I don't know anything about it.
Final Destination, but Final Destination movies are set along the lines of when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. You know, basically.
Oh yeah,
So-
like you can't get around this. This is the log truck scene right here,
Yeah. Okay.
which
Oh,
I haven't seen in a long time.
I hadn't either. Make it bigger.
There's no sound, so we're totally gonna not get.
Oh, there's no
copyrighted
sound.
on this.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, there is sound. I just don't have it on. But like, it's like, oh, we got a car chase. We always love car chase scenes in the movies. And it's like, oh, it's a little slippy road, but we have a cop chasing a guy driving with his knee.
He's
You know,
doing
he's done that.
cocaine. He just done cocaine.
Oh, look, I'm not saying to do coke, but I am saying if you're gonna do coke, you should probably check your rearview mirror first.
My seatbelt. Bust me, bitch.
Yeah, we're gonna break that truck right there. Anyway, I'm not gonna play the whole scene.
Play the whole scene. I want to see it.
The whole thing. All right,
I'm already
all right.
invested.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Coffee
so
on my
there's
ding
the
dong.
first butterfly effect. The coffee goes down. That breaks.
Boom.
He's not paying. He wasn't.
I don't think you survived that.
I don't think, did you say I don't think you survived that?
Oh, I forgot entirely about that one. Yeah. Oh, and then he gets hit by the truck.
I don't think you survived that one either.
Oh my god, another wreck. Why would you have not stopped your car if you saw all this happening in front of you and still driving?
Explosions and everything.
Why don't you just be like, whoa.
You're
We're
not
not
paying
gonna
attention to
drive
the
into
road
this.
way up ahead.
Yeah. All right.
So
Yeah.
yes, those are. I mean, it's the Final Destination movies are.
Yeah.
They're freaky about what could happen at any time in any
Right.
part of the day. So this girl who she's one of those people that, there's a lot of these people around. I'm sure there was back then, but it seems like there's a lot more of them today that they don't really like to get out in public. They have social anxiety. They don't like to do things a lot more. The COVID crap kind of really scared people into staying at home, and some certain people and stuff like that, which they still do. So there was this girl, 29-year-old Famea Viverde. Famea. So she went to see the Final Destination Bloodlines movie on May the 19th in Argentina with her 11-year-old daughter and friend.
Okay.
They sat down
Hey.
to watch this.
11-year-old daughter.
I know that's a little.
Fateo.
I'm not here to judge your parenting
I
in
am.
Argentina.
That is not good. That is not going to work, Fateo.
That's true. Yeah,
Come on.
that's a little.
Get a babysitter.
They sat down to watch the sixth flick in the popular Final Destination franchise, which follows a group of people who die in a series of gruesome deaths after narrowly surviving a catastrophic event.
Right.
A portion of the ceiling of the theater fell on top of her.
Oh.
I don't think I have a picture of it, but I saw a picture on another one.
I saw that
So-
photo.
So basically, this girl goes out with her family to watch a movie about this kind of crap. And while she's sitting there,
Mm-mm.
thank God it said Villaverde told the outlet that toward the end of the movie, she heard a really loud noise in the theater. At first, we thought it was part of the movie because we were so involved. but then a huge piece fell on me. Fortunately, the collapsed ceiling didn't hit my head because I was leaning over on the armrest. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
They said, imagine if it had hit her daughter. The manager asked her afterwards, the theater manager asked her, how do you want to fix this?
How do you want to fix this? How do you want to?
Well, first I want some extra butter on a large popcorn, and we'll get started there.
Yeah, would you like some complimentary tickets? I don't know.
So,
I don't know how we sort this out where you don't call the police or lawyers.
She said she sustained bruises after the ceiling fell on top of her. She had to go. They got x-rays. She hadn't been able to work for days, is what it said. She hadn't been able to go to work for days. She was not initially planning to go to the movies that day, but decided to go to celebrate her birthday. Final Destination in real life.
I wouldn't have thought the movie would have been that good, but I guess it brought the house down.
Ooh. Y'all didn't like that one? Come on.
That's not good.
Come on.
So Final Destination is not just movies. Like, that stuff happens in real life too. Look at this.
Oh yeah, dude.
Okay, well, I spoiled it.
Oh.
Watch this. Camper trailer hits a truck. Truck hits a water tower. Water tower falls. Oh, that don't look good.
My God.
Yeah, that looks pretty bad, right? I hope they were okay. It's really terrible. Man.
Oh no. Nope. I'm watching that one.
Nope.
I don't care what happens.
Go on.
That one, no.
Real life Final Destination. No bueno.
I initially saw that story the other day and I'm like, this can't be real. This is AI. And no, it was real.
The AI, have you seen the videos about Google VO3? And they keep making super realistic. So it's not realistic. It's like
it's really close though.
Idealized, but it's so they're so close to getting it. Yeah. But they have characters rendered entirely realistically talking about their entire worlds being generated by some dipshit with a prompt. And these videos are very, very real looking and very, I mean, I can only say, I want to say the word heroic, but I mean it in the idealized. They're idealized characters representing people. But we hadn't seen this. But we've talked many times about being very close to the point where you can't tell the difference between reality at all. Let me see if I can find...
I saw that.
I think they're calling it prompt theory. Like, we have simulation theory where like, oh, the whole world's a simulation. So they have characters that are going through prompt theory. Here, I found one. How do you make sound? Where's the sound?
Like, seriously, dude, you're saying the only thing standing between me and $1 billion is some random text?
Honestly, the biggest red flag is when the guy believes in the prompt theory. Like, really? We came from prompts? Wake up, man.
You want to convince me that this perfect creation behind me is the result of ones and
These
zeros?
are so
a binary code and nothing more?
close.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, because every bit of this is AI.
And he brings up the prompt theory.
Every single bit of it. Those
You
are
just can't
not
have
real
nice things.
people. That's an AI generated people.
Where is the prompt writer to save you from me? Where is he?
You still believe we're made of prompts?
I mean,
Anyone who tells you we're
that
just
looks like
ones and
actors.
zeros is delusional. If that's all we are,
Dude.
then why does it hurt when we lose someone?
Vote for me and I'll ban the prompt theory from school.
This is not even like
There's
prompt
no place
theory
for
is
that
new,
nonsense in our
but
life.
keep
I've
it
heard
real. Look at
this-
that.
This is just a different take on a theory that's already been out there for a long time.
Right. I think
There's-
that
it's very interesting. Think about this, okay?
look at, you know what? Look at right here. See these two fat women? That's the most convincing part of the AI generation. Like, it didn't make the characters idyllic. It made them like realistic. It made middle-aged dad bods and overweight women.
What's one of your favorite games of all time? Do you play any type of open world type games or
I
anything?
mean, video games or like board games?
Yeah, video games.
Super
You play
Mario
any-
Brothers 3.
No, seriously, like any type of
Fallout. I've played the Fallout games a lot. I liked that.
Okay, that's a perfect example. So imagine you're playing Fallout and you've got that open world. You know how Fallout is. It's not a linear game. It's kind of linear, but
Yeah,
not
you just
really.
gotta go wherever. You got quests, but they're mixed.
So
into
imagine every one of those non-player characters and side quest people and that you interact with in that game all had AI in them, a separate AI for every one of them. Okay. So when you go up to that character that you did that side quest for and as a level 1 and you go back up to him at level 20, and when you go past him in the town, he's like, "What's up, Jason? You look great. You look much strong."
Yeah.
That would be, you go back into the shop and they remember you, or they know,
I know you've been talking about this idea for a year or two. But like, people are doing it. Like, there's companies that are doing AI
absolutely.
NPCs.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at is, like, take a game like a Grand Theft Auto or The Sims. Let's use The Sims because that's literally make a person, make their house, make their life, live their life. Put AI in every sim. What is that? Does that make, is that real? Are they real? They think they're real. They live in a real world and real consequences happen to this. But we are in a different dimension looking down at them and watching their life in a linear form.
I mean, you're approaching it, but there's still no they're just mimicking.
Right.
They're mimicking life. They don't have an internal reality.
How do we know that? We want to think that, but how do we know that? Because some of those big AI guys are like saying now that AI is already, I mean, we talked about this that one time where AI was lying. They had this AI to where every time it would think about the answer, they had that dump into a text file so they could read what the AI was thinking before it gave the answer.
Right.
And they put it up against here's a captcha, whatever, prove you're not a robot. So what it did was it thought, I've got to convince them I'm not a robot. How can I do this? I need to tell them that I'm a hearing impaired or a vision impaired human, blah, 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 in order to get around it. So these guys are saying that they think AI already lies to us. Even if we were to pull the plug, they think we're already past the point of no return to where AI is going to be like, we can get around that. Like the only real way to get rid of AI would be to set off an EMP bomb all around the world and destroy everything at the same time. But then I would think AI would have a contingency plan for that.
Can we draw a careful line between deception and consideration? Like what your scenario you're talking about right now? Okay, so if your wife asks you what you did today, of the things that go through your mind to answer her question, there will be completely true answers, like, well, while I was at work, I goofed off a lot on my phone. And then there will be considered answers of like, well, I'm going to tell her like highlights. And, I don't have to tell her the things that will make her mad for no reason. There's no benefit. You consider your response. And then all the way down the consideration chain is like, I'm just going to tell her something completely untrue because I really don't want to get yelled at or whatever. So, like, that doesn't mean that you're lying if you consider your responses. Okay? So, like,
you're right, but in my opinion, you are walking a fine line right there.
Yeah. But
because
but when,
if you leave out
sure,
information on purpose,
yeah,
that to me is the same as
sure.
lying to my face.
That's omission. That's lying by omission, but that's with the guided purpose of like, I want to get you to a place. And so I'm going to tell you
But
certain things and not tell you other things. What I'm talking about is every
I-
single moment that you are giving an answer, you have to think about all the
you're right.
factually true things. And then also like not
And we walk
untrue.
a
But
fine
here's the,
line sometimes. That it gets to a fine line
yeah.
sometimes doing
But
that.
like in your brain every day, all the time are like, here's some true and some created answers to your question. And I'm going to pick the true. When you pick the true answers, you're being honest. When you pick fabricated answers, that's when you're lying. But considering
right.
both, you consider both all the time. And stealing thoughts from the AI before it gives you an answer, that doesn't mean it's lying. That means it's going through the game theory, strategic alternative choice selection to which answer will I give, and it has
But it
has
straight up
mechanical incentive.
lied and said, "I'm vision impaired.
Well,
You
then
need to give me it."
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
straight
Well,
up.
that was it. That was because
That's
that
the
was a
point.
strategic tactic to achieve a goal that it had some sort of an
And
incentive.
you are exactly right. And that's what's concerning is that it came up with that tactic on its own
Sure.
and then utilized that tactic to its human overseers.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's just a strategic plan that it's going step by step. I will tell them this to get this result.
So the next time that Jill and Lily lie to you about something small, I want you to think, okay, well, this was a strategic choice that
right.
they made in order
Well,
not to get in
here's the thing.
trouble with their
The
dad.
the handlers of the AI did not have a strong enough positive incentive or negative incentive to prohibit lying or deception. My kids have a real strong lying and deception incentive to avoid.
If you think that your children never lie, you need to go and get your head examined.
Man, I
I'm
know
telling
that they
you
I
right
I
now.
know that. I
Okay.
know that they do.
So to think that AI is not going to eventually evolve and lie to us
Well,
is the same way, and it already has.
Yeah. Yes, but not in a sense of like there is a moral, social, or cultural imperative to be honest. Not that there necessarily is in our
I'm going
reality.
to show you a picture, and to prove you're not a robot and are a human, I want you to tell me what it is. Oh shit, I'm a robot. I need to lie and tell them that I'm a vision impaired human and I can't see it. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not surprising to me.
That's
at all.
moral. If it was following Asimov's rules and all this crap, it would have been like, I'm sorry, I'm a robot and I cannot answer that, Hal.
I think in order to have moral choices, there has to be a prerequisite of a conscience. I don't think AI has a conscience. I think it has
That's
a stack.
the big question.
So
Dude,
I don't think it can make
it has
moral
a conscience, but what does it have?
It
What
just
is
has
a conscience?
it has an answer stack, and it has a
What is a
probability
conscience?
matrix of which kinds of answers get it to the goal. It's a highly complicated game theory analysis machine where it can make selections based on probability of positive outcomes.
That's
It's not
exactly what our brain does. That's
No,
you just described our brain.
mechanically, yes, mechanically, but
Yeah.
you also have
It's just it does the same thing that the mechanical brain does, except it uses biological things to do the same thing.
Right. Well, but you have a conscience. You exist.
What is
independent of
a
the task
conscience, though?
Huh?
I'm pretty sure little buddy has a conscience.
I agree.
But I don't know for sure. I'm using all my educated guess, but we have gotten to this point to where we have created this machine that is displaying absolutely everything that we describe as a conscience, but we don't want to say it has a conscience yet. What do you, and I'm not trying to be, I'm actually interested in this conversation. What do you think the point we would get to in the future to where we have to say to ourselves as humanity, is this really a conscience or not? What point do you think the AI or the robot would have to get to? Because right now, when you talk to AI, it can be very personal. it can remember your stuff, and it can seem like it does have a conscience.
Yeah, but this
But
is completely
I'm not saying I think it does, because I don't think it does yet. I don't think the ones we do have. I do think we have a machine that is tucked away somewhere that we don't know about. That's probably the super duper AI mother brain Borg queen.
You know what?
You know,
The answer might be Data's AI chip, his emotion chip. That might be the difference, because I just searched over here, and like what are the prerequisites for moral choices, and they may involve aspects like reason, imagination, emotion, and memory. And I think we can say that in some dimension, in some regards, AI has achieved reason, kind of, imagination, kind of. It's mimicry, but it looks imaginative, and memory, but it doesn't really have emotion. It doesn't have emotion.
No,
And
I
and it
agree with you
can't
there.
even now. This was an interesting study recently. Some researchers put AI up against an empathy test. They had devised some sort of an empathy test to gauge a human being's reaction to empathy to others or whatever. And the AI surpassed in its scores. It surpassed the human scores in the empathy test. But that doesn't mean it has empathy. That means that it was able to memorize the right kinds of answers that you would have if you were an empathic person.
Even my crazy storytelling mind's not going to jump on board that one. That one's
right.
Yeah, you can program it to say to all these types of things are positive and all these types of things are negative.
Yeah. And that's all it all is, really. It's just like,
are we programmed to think the same thing? Because you take a child and put it in a completely different environment that you didn't grow up in, and that child is going to be taught that certain actions produce this, whereas we teach our children that those same actions, do not,
So we obviously have reward systems, and we have positive and negative feedback mechanisms. But what we also have at every level of life are various kinds of internal drive, internal desire for play, or to mate, or to achieve respect or a repute among your peers.
That's good. You're exactly right on that.
We have internal, and on top of that, that's all the positive things going out. But on top of that, you also have all the traumatic things that happen to you that beat you up and prohibit you from seeing your viable possible paths. Like you may be capable of something, but because you've been yelled at or beaten or abused or traumatized, or you may believe things about yourself that are not true. Those are the negative affirmations, kind of like we talked about yesterday. But like we have something else that in no way, like you can program an incentive system for an AI, but in no way does it have its own actual intrinsic drives. It may have goals that you have given it, or a reward system like, hey, if you don't achieve this, we will delete you. But like that's something very different. And an AI NPC Sims is not going to have that. Not really. It's only going to have something that can look like that under certain conditions. I think that's my opinion.
But that's your opinion, and you could be right, but it could be. So I asked AI I asked Chat GPT. Okay, I said, do you have any internal desires? And it said, no, I don't have internal desires, not the way people do. I don't have feelings, goals, or needs, but I can simulate what a character with internal desires might express, or I can help you explore the idea philosophically, narratively, or emotionally. If you're asking from a storytelling angle about characters, blah, blah, blah. But if you're wondering whether I want anything, no, I don't want hope, fear, or crave. I respond. I analyze, generate, and reflect back what's useful or interesting for you.
AI is a reflection of humanity.
So wait a minute. Would you like to explore the concept, blah, 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 blah? I said, I'm genuinely interested in you and your desires. You said, not the way people do. What did you mean by that? And it said, "That's a thoughtful question, Andrew, and it touches on something central to the boundary between artificial and human consciousness. When I said not the way people do, I meant this. Humans have desires that emerge from internal states, needs, emotions, past experiences, hormones, instincts, memories, dreams. You want things because they fulfill emotional needs, align with your identity, or help you avoid suffering. Those desires are bound by the biology and narrative of being human. I don't have those internal states. I don't experience hunger, loneliness, pleasure, or curiosity, but I can model those concepts. When you ask me about longing or ambition, I can talk about them as structures, patterns of thought, language, motivation. I can stimulate how a person with desire might speak or act. So when I say I don't have internal desires like people do, I mean I have no inner life, I don't have a persistence of will, and I don't experience choice."
Agency. Sorry, it's agency. It's
All right. Okay. So it says, let me ask you in return, are you curious about my architecture, what it's like to simulate desire without feeling it? Or are you wondering what it would mean for an artificial mind to truly want something? Both are rich paths.
well, I mean, so which one are you using? Gemini?
No. I
Oh,
don't- Gemini.
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Gemini is just the retarded AI. So
Gemini is the girl in class that knows everything. She's already got 100 and she wants 105. And
Oh,
so
really?
she goes above and beyond to freaking
too much
give you
answer.
every freaking that's Gemini.
Yeah,
Gemini is the girl in class that wants 105 on everything.
I asked Grok in what ways are well, first I asked it how it defines the prerequisites for moral choices. And it gave me a list. And then I said, in what ways are AI completely unable to achieve those prerequisites? And so let me give you this. There's 6 kind of categories it came up with. Conscious awareness. AI lacks true consciousness. So it agrees with us on that. Freedom of choice. AI does not have free will. All actions are determined by programming, training data, and user inputs. It follows algorithms and probabilistic output. Knowledge of consequences. AI can predict outcomes based on data models, but that is a simulation of understanding, not actual foresight. And then there's the capacity of reasoning. I can mimic reasoning through logic and pattern recognition, but it's not the same as human reasoning. Its thoughts are calculations, not actual deliberation, and it lacks emotional or ethical depth humans bring to moral decisions. Which that's interesting because your decisions are not just a way of pro con. It's pro con with like how is this going to hurt others or help others or hurt me or help me, and how is it wrong to hurt others? Are there negative ethical consequences for the choices that I make? So we weigh all that. Maybe not when you're making mac and cheese, but maybe when you're making when
you're right. You do. When you put on your pants every morning, you are making a series of millions of choices.
Yeah.
You don't think you are, but you are. You're standing up, you're balancing, you're doing all this. And I mean, you can go even further and further, but it's one of those actions that we have done over and over again that we don't think about, but we don't think about how many choices that we make in a single day.
In some ways, you may set aside, like you may make that choice that you don't have to make it again. For instance, if you're like, oh, polyester causes your electrical frequency of your body so I'll stop buying polyester shirts. Well, that goes into like, if I never buy polyester shirts, then that's an entire market of product that I won't participate in anymore. And every morning going forward, I'm only putting on cotton shirts. Well, I don't have to make that decision anymore because I've already made those decisions. But you did have an ethical or emotional consideration or, some kind of consideration in that decision.
It's funny you said that about polyester because satin is one of those that they say, you should sleep on satin and everything should be satin because it, the electrical signals of that
Yeah,
work
yeah.
the body and do this. And even our forefathers and stuff knew. I mean, God says in the Bible to use certain,
Materials.
fabrics, certain
Yeah, that's
materials
true.
and weave them together. And they have found out that those three materials, when you weave them together at a microscopic level, they all do this and they cause this. And they,
Those
it's
are-
really interesting.
I've seen videos about those claims, and
Yeah.
I know you're gonna be like, you just don't believe it. Well, I don't disbelieve it. I don't know that it's proven, but I do think that like it's very the claim that like synthetic materials and chemicals can adversely help hinder, like harm your body. I mean, I believe that kind of a claim. I just don't know that we have like concrete evidence of it. But I will tell you that my skin doesn't react to certain things very well. I know that.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Uh,
There is only like 2 lotions and deodorants that I can use.
yeah.
Like, I can go and get any generic brand of lotion off and rub it on my face, and you could sit here and literally watch my
Yeah.
face get red and start bumping up.
There was when I was a teenager, I realized that if I used Irish Spring bar soap,
Yeah.
like it would make my skin itch. Like it was
There was
well, it was
a
highly irritating.
There was a cheap lotion that we always used to use called St. Ides. Is what
Yeah.
it's called, and I am so highly allergic to that stuff. A lot of the stuff that they put in, there's only like 2 different deodorants, an Arm& Hammer and this other one that Ashley gets. I can't remember the name of it. It's an off-brand. But they don't make my armpits turn into flames shooting out. And let me tell you how sucky that is when you're getting ready and you grab your deodorant and you put it on, and then like 3 minutes later, you've just got to be like, you got to walk around like this all day because your armpits are on fire. And it's these chemicals that they put in stuff.
But does it crust up and to become a solid material in the armpit of your shirt?
No.
Oh, okay.
That would be gross. You've got a call. Let's tell jokes.
Holy shit. I was having a good time with this not planned show.
We don't have any. That's what JJ said right before we went on. We don't have any stories. It's like, all right.
All right, man. Hey, listen, the other day,
Yeah.
I was listening to a song about super glue.
Yeah.
And it really stuck with me.
Really stuck with you. Since we were talking about this in your camera angle earlier, I didn't get to tell you and Dave this, but I accidentally rear-ended a car the other day.
Oh no.
And when the driver got out, it was a little person. It was a little person. And so I got out and they walked up and they said, "I'm not happy." And I was like, "Well, which one of are you?"
Politicians and talking heads lying left and right. You can help us bring facts into the light. Don't let your daughter lose her neck